Let's disassemble this Melnor. It leaks, and I want to see inside the Phillips screwdriver and the butter knife. If you have silicone grease, it's really a good idea to lubricate. I'll show what when you got it new, because that will extend the life of seals, even the spring that may corrode inside, and it breaks basically, so it cracks and fails, the spring that is. So it's a really nice idea to use some silicone grease when you got one of these units from new, even if it's old. It's not that bad. When you tighten these things back, so I don't forget, don't force on them, it's plastic, right? So it's not metal on metal. Screws are metal, but it's screws in plastic. One smaller one are going into metal, but the center one it's plastic, so you want to be careful with it. Now here's the trick that you need to know, is that you must adjust the handle. So right now you need to be able to fully depress the handle, because this is how we remove the orange piece. If you don't depress the handle, probably you won't be able to remove the orange piece. And this is pretty much the same assembly for many brands. Now when you use the butter knife on this edge here, be careful. Some units have a rubber seal around the edge here inside. You may damage that seal. It depends on the brand. I think this one does not have it. So depress fully and keep it depressed, and adjust the stud so you can retract fully the stud here. That's really important. So depressed. Let's just insert gently. Watch your hands. You can hurt, maybe use some gloves, but it shouldn't be. So I'm going to split it at several points, not just one point, obviously, because all those water deposits and stuff, it may be stuck in there. And usually you should be able to, but it's important to keep it depressed, right? I'm saying this one more time. It does feel like it doesn't want to come out, but it's simply a seal that it's perhaps. Let's just try to tighten more this stud here, so I can extend the handle even more. Tight. Applying a little extra force, but not too much. There you have it. So don't be scared. It feels like it doesn't want to come off, but it will work. But again, handle depressed, and when you put it back in place, it's exactly the same thing. Depress the handle, push it back in place, otherwise you won't be able to place the two screws. Also remember that this seal here sits at the top, so you have the two holes for the screws. This thing can go either like this or like this. This is incorrect. Seal is not at the bottom. You must put it at the top, right? This, right? So this is when you place it back. Now you have the stud. I call this stud inside. I need just to unscrew it from here. On this unit, the small, let's call this knob, that I'm rotating as we speak. I think this, yes, this one also, it kind of hooks in there. The small rotating piece, it will stay in there. Actually, it has a slot at the bottom, so if you want to fully remove it, it's not really necessary, but let's just try it. You just need to slide it at the bottom like this, and this is the exit hole. You see it's larger at the bottom, and that's how I put it back in a place. Match it. Again, this is very common on many models. This is the interior is really just a hole basically. My I call this stud. My stud did drop from there, and I'm looking to it. Normally there is another seal at the bottom, which I think it did stay in there. So there is one more seal. Just try to remove it from there. Whoopee! There you have it. It went flying, but not too far. So I can continue my video happily. Just try to push that seal out gently, because obviously it's a piece of rubber. If it doesn't want to come out, it's not mandatory, but yeah, it's kind of stuck in. Maybe. Okay, there you have it. So maybe you are okay. Got my camera back to life. It did freeze. What's up? So this is the seal at the bottom. Let's see how it sits in there. So we have this top seal here. We have this plastic piece that keeps stops the spring. At the bottom of the spring, we have another plastic piece. This one looks quite tiny. The spring, it's actually very stiff. So those plastic pieces, and the seal here goes like this. It has like a conical part. The larger part goes against the plastic. The tip of the cone goes at the rear of the sprayer, and it sits like this. And this unit appears fine. I had a second one, and on that second one this seal failed. So it was just overlapping here. It kind of torn. And what I'm going to do with this thing, by the way, notice that the spring is not stainless steel, it's just regular metal. It's quite thick. This one is not really corroded, but it may go bad. What I'm going to do with this unit, and by the way, the stud appears to be brass. At least this is my eyes. Brass, looks brass. This is rust from the spring. I'm going to lubricate all this assembly with my silicone grease. It's really important to use non-petroleum grease, because these seals, if you put any kind of petroleum grease, in a few hours or days, it's going to swell and it's going to fail basically. So silicone non-petroleum grease, I'm going to lubricate. Let me just give you an idea. I'm not going to do this on video because it's too long. I'm going to lubricate this seal here. I'm going to smear the spring with that grease, my fingers, so it kind of protects it from getting more corrosion. I'm going to smear silicone here so it slides better as well on the stud. And I'm going to smear at the rear of the stud as well, because this thing kind of compresses like this a bit. Also, I'm going to smear here so this rear seal slides easier. And I'm going to smear around this seal as well. And let me just see here. You may want to smear some silicone here in the hole. This is the hole for this tiny little guy. I can tell you on my other sprayer, which is identical, this guy was the weak point. So I'm going to smear some silicone in there. You want to smear some silicone again here. This one also, I can see that it's kind of not in very good shape. Perhaps I'm going to flip it. Let's try gently. Here you have it. Oh no, I cannot flip it. Okay, so it's one way only. My worry is that it looks worn here, and perhaps I'm going to swap it from another one. What happens is when you rotate to select the pattern, the spray pattern, this piece here rotates against this plate, and it's rubber on plastic. At some point, if you really rotate a lot, it's going to wear off this seal and it's going to leak. One of the things that you can do when you see a leak here, when you release the handle, is just tighten the screw, center screw a little more, but be careful, again, it's on plastic. So if you are forcing on it, it will just break. And the second thing is what I do recommend. This is another important lubrication point. Yes, lubricate this one with silicone, but also smear all this surface, all of it, with a thin layer of silicone grease. Don't be worried, it's not, unless you drink from the nozzle, but it's not going to damage your flowers or anything. So all this surface, it will just make this guy slide much easier. And also this tip here, which is kind of locking in place, is going to make a nicer click. I think it's going to, you are going to like it. So these are mainly the lubricating point, this seal, the surface here. If you see a seal around here, make sure you lubricate it also. Lubricate a bit the bottom of this hole, Whoops, my spring is jumping from there. This spring goes in there with the plastic piece on the top. So lubricate inside here. You may want to lubricate the bottom place where the end seal sits as well. Lubricate all this assembly except for the threads here. You can lubricate the threads as well, but I think it's not needed. Also lubricate the top seal here. So this, if you get this a nozzle from new and do all this lube once a year, maybe twice a year, in my opinion, these seals are going to slide much easier, much less wear, less damage on them, because look how tiny they are. It's incredible. The spring also may last longer, will corrode much less, and you may just extend the life of your nozzle. It's annoying to replace these things like it's I don't know, cheesecake or something. It's kind of, you know, it's frustrating. Yes, that's the word. So of course, not everybody wants to spend time, has the time to do these kind of things. It's up to you, but for me it's also a pleasure, a hobby, just being able to arrange a bit things and bring them back to life, or extend their life as well. But again, many units are like this. I do have another unit. I got this cheapo plastic, all plastic, and you see no more center screw. Perhaps is behind this mesh, I'm not sure, but possibly new units have a different design than those 3 screws here. So maybe you won't be able to disassemble them, but at least these older units are like this. Okay, thanks for watching.